Hello. This is a tour and showcase of Lacus, the village that we've been working on in the game Enshrouded, as well as a sort of video diary. I've been on injury leave the past 4 months, so I've had a lot of free time to spend building all this stuff. A lot of it is stuff that I've made, but a few of the more impressive features were done by my friend Kevin, and some of the other really fun ones were done by my wife Sarah. We've each all adjusted or made additions to basically all of it, though, so it's been pretty collaborative. Starting with the farm here, it's a good example of something we made for its utility while also trying to make it all look very pretty. That's more or less how we've played this game, and the game does a really great job of compelling the player to be creative through the way it drip feeds you, do decorations and machines and stuff. Not to mention the weather system and things like this. Sometimes baddies will try to sneak up on you, and thankfully Kevin put together this incredible looking archway and perimeter wall. It does a fantastic job keeping them out. Kevin also made this main pavilion area in the central spire that stems out from the teleport spot. It's where everybody appears when they're zipping back home from anywhere else on the map, which makes it a good place to start showing off the main facility. This is the hearth of the village. I made it pretty early on to our adventure, and it's still the thing I think I'm most proud of. I agree with Kevin that it's got a sort of Monster Hunter vibe, though I wasn't really thinking of that when I was making it. I don't know, I just think it looks so cozy. This whole communal cooking, dining area. Our storage, probably not as big as we need, but it's been working so far. I like the railings for the walls, makes it look very pretty at night. I thought it'd be cute to have a little reception desk here with NPCs saying hello. Kind of reminds me of the help desk I worked at part-time back in college. Carpentry shop here. I love the ceiling lighting Kevin did here. The wood voxels look so good as framing around the lights. I think the brick tiling with wood accent really just warms the place up and makes it look like somewhere you'd want to work. And I tried to move my guy around in a way that gives a sense of direction through this place. It's got a bit of an odd layout, to be honest. And I just absolutely love the lighting system in this game. I often get distracted by how pretty the light looks pouring through in the afternoon. This is the farmer station. Not sure what I was thinking with this extra covering over it, but I think it looks quite nice. I'm really impressed by the artist's efforts to make all the voxels and props aesthetically fit together. It still allows for infinite creativity, but it makes it effortless to put together something very pretty. Huntress's area here turned out okay. It's a bit more sparsely decorated just since she has so many machines we need to use so often. We also just recently unlocked this water wheel, and I love that it actually spins. It works perfectly at the output of the canal system Kevin made. A few years ago, my mom set up a book station in our neighborhood where anyone could come and take a book, leave a book. I always found that kind of idyllic and optimistic in a way, which is what inspired this little communal book nook area. Through here is the Alchemist's Station. I'm pretty proud of how it looks. I think it's got a very mystical vibe to it with the blue lights in the wall. I think that works. Heading up towards the smithy, I'm pretty happy about how this place fit into the layout. Also the white light blocks contrasting against the metal inlay kind of makes it feel like a gun store, especially with all those weapons on the wall, which I don't know, it cracks me up. Take a little roundabout way up towards the fountain and the trophy wall. I mentioned pretty early on in the planning of this place, maybe, having some sort of central water feature, and Kevin took the idea and ran with it. I mean, yeah, this thing looks great. He also designed these little canals that run through the village, which honestly seemed like a crazy amount of trouble, just due to how difficult the water physics are to work with. He pulled it off, though. I think the constant motion of the water really gives the village like a sense of life. At some point in the process, he decided he wanted to add an aqueduct system, which I wasn't convinced at first would look quite right, but I held my tongue, trusted he'd make it work. I think he did. I think it looks quite pretty. Really adds to the sense of scale. The scale of the village overall ended up being more than I'd initially expected. We had started with a much smaller public building for all the NPCs, and expanding it into this giant facility was biting off almost more than I could chew. Getting the roof finished really made planning out the whole spot much easier, though, so it definitely felt like it paid off. Up here is the salon. I'm pretty happy with how the mannequins look with the lights above them like that. Really showcases a lot of the nice outfits you can find in the game. This spot connects here with the living quarters for all the village NPCs you can find. Didn't want to decorate it too much in order to avoid messing with their pathing. They all gotta walk back up here at night to get to their beds, and they're very prone to getting stuck on stuff. So it's not the prettiest area, but the roof I think looks pretty nice, and it all just fits, nicely into the overall shape of the big facility. And Sarah was saying that she really likes how open it is up there, and you can like look past the rafters down at the dining hall here and all the workshops, and I agree. I think it's nice.
Hello.
We built this little bar out here very early on, and maybe could have expanded it in some way, but never felt any inspiration to do so, I guess. This has been revised multiple times, though. There was a island in the middle of the lake sticking up that I immediately knew needed to have a huge fire on it, and like some walkway around it. We recently found this glowing underwater algae that makes swimming down under the island at night look very pretty, as you can see. We initially had a much rougher looking like wooden pyre here, and I was thrilled when we finally found this giant brazier. I think it fits a lot better. These ruins at the other end of the dock were just here when we got here, and none of us have had much of an idea to do with it, so we just stuck this bone guy here for now. I think that's fine. Back to the main pavilion, we're going to take a better look at Kevin's spire. It's very tall, and the statue on top reminds me of Mormon temples, which I'm not fond of for many reasons, but none of which are the architecture. This here is my house. I think parts of it look very nice. My eye for interior design isn't as refined as I'd have hoped it'd be at this point in my life. Like, I love decorating, but the economy and housing market here in the US has been worse during my adult life than I think, for at least it was for my parents, and I just haven't had much practice. Like, these lights around the ceiling are inspired by the cheap string lights I've hung around every apartment I've lived in. The bathroom looks fine. I do love the idea of having a tub facing a window out towards the ocean or like a lake. I doubt beachfront properties in the cards for me, but it's fun to live vicariously through the game. The texture on these granite walkways is exquisite. leaves me feeling a little hot under the collar, just thinking about taking a walk outside. But, anyways, heading back in up to the bedroom. Wanted to impress the missus with this one. I really tried to make it look as elegant as I could. Took some inspiration from the master bedroom in my parents' old house. I always thought the slanted roof and the big windows up above looked really nice. I think it turned out quite pleasant. Out here, though, is something I dreamed up entirely, and damn, it looks so comfy. I wish I had a zone like this to hang out with my friends in the evening. Like, fuck, that would be so sick. Anyways, where are we headed now? Yeah, over on this side of the lake is this gorgeous stone walkway that Kevin made. It's so pretty. He knocked it out of the park with this thing. The desert stone he used really complements this little beach area I installed. My dad's job had us living in Hawaii for a couple of years when I was really young, and I just remember the lagoons there being perfect. Tried to recreate that feeling. It was honestly a paradise. I really gotta take my wife and I there to visit soon. Speaking of, my wife was mostly just enjoying the exploration and adventuring side of the game through most of our time in it. Which, to be fair, the map is huge and there is a ton of stuff to see and do. I assume it was her finding these little capybara creatures that you can tame and bring home that compelled her to start building. She put together this cute little house and enclosure for them, which I think looks pretty nice. I don't know what this thing is. This thing's strange. I haven't really messed with the animals much. Unfortunately, she only caught the urge to start building stuff kind of near the time where Kevin and I have basically wrapped up our interest in the game for now. So she's only got the capybara house and one other thing I'll show off a bit later, which it is very fun. I'm excited to see, what she makes next. Maybe if we get back into playing it with some new update or something. But yeah, that's most of the main parts of the village, with only a few things left to show off. Next up is Kevin's house. He and I both started making our houses basically right at the start. Neither of us were really aware yet of how the game would progress and what would be needed. Kind of ended up being that private residences weren't all that useful. They make more sense, in Minecraft, which we're both primarily used to. It's the village NPCs and expensive machines that you need to make for everyone to use. Kind of, it more so incentivized building a big communal living space rather than these isolated homes. The three of us have played this whole game on, I think, 150% loot drops, which we probably could have kicked up a bit higher. It might have made things feel a little less expensive. Even so, I think his design and the materials that he used in here are very tasteful. I think we both fell into a sort of keeping up with the Joneses complex, where it's like anytime he did a renovation on his house, I got anxious. I felt compelled to improve mine too. I have had more time to play than he has, though. And, I love this little nook that he did for the bedroom. Like, I don't know, I just think that's beautiful looking. Through here, yep, up these stairs is a little attic that looks quite pleasant. These windows he did were the first thing anyone tried to do where you had to manipulate the roof tiles, which are very finicky. And I think he did a pretty good job with those. Oh, he had also dug out this cellar space at one point, and my wife and I were playing while he was still at work, and she decided to prank him. I offered to remove all that so he could still use the cellar for his own purpose, but he seemed to like it. He said not to worry about it. Speaking of digging underground, though, I spent, frankly, a fucking stupid amount of time digging out this entire underground space here with just a pickaxe, because I was unaware that you can use the terrain tool to rapidly remove huge chunks of dirt. It took hours, but and I think it looks pretty sweet. I think it was Kevin who said the pool with the blue lights kind of looks like that scene from John Wick. Which, yeah. Through here is the crypt. This guy down here with all his spooky shit didn't really fit well into any of the village above. There's just a lot of decorations and tiles with this like mausoleum theme, and I wanted a spot to put him that made more sense, but it is pretty down here. Kind of has me wondering how far down you can dig. I never checked that out. I guess I should do that. Dug this whole tunnel out so that the underground connected to both Kevin's house and mine. And here we are back on my balcony. Kind of wanted to show off some glamour shots of the view at night. I've just genuinely loved playing this game. I love how pretty it is and how much there is to do and find. We really got into it at the right time, too. It's made this insane injury leave I've been on much more pleasant than it would have been otherwise. Walking back out here through the farm, we'll be getting towards the Greco-Bactrian Temple Kevin made. Kevin's always had a tendency to base a lot of his builds off real-world buildings or structures. The huge archway, as well, is apparently based on like a Roman archway of similar size. It's honestly always very cool. The historical accuracy of him just adds a flavor to the things he makes that's not present in mine, since I only ever build freeform. Like, this is based on the actual layout of that ancient temple out in Afghanistan, like based on a render he found. And I just think that's such a cool idea for a project. I really love the way he pulled this off. Now we're nearing the end of the tour here. I've only got a couple of more things left to show off before we
take the order?
Sarah surprised me pretty good with that. That cracks me up. That's really funny. We're headed away from Lacus, though, to show off the one last thing I made. I wish I had thought of this myself, because it's totally something I usually think to do, but no, I did see a post online of someone else building way up in the sky first, and it looked very cool. We had just got these final hang gliders, and I wanted us to have a similar spot up there so we could just easily get around the mountain region. Decided to have some fun putting together a little ropes course, because I thought it'd be thrilling to be able to swing around so high off the ground. And that's about it. I've had an incredible time playing Enshrouded with Sarah and Kevin. It's basically Minecraft 2. I love how pretty our village turned out, and wanted to make this video so that we could easily revisit it in the future. For any other viewers who've made it this far, I hope you liked it, and thanks for watching.